Have you ever felt that strange heaviness in your chest? Not pain, exactly, but a kind of quiet sorrow that lingers when the house falls silent? Maybe it hits you when the phone doesn't ring for days, or when you're sitting by the window, watching people pass by, but not stopping in. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. In fact, there's one quiet, creeping cause of depression among seniors that no one seems to talk about enough. And it's not illness. It's not money. It's not even grief, at least not in the way most people think. Before I tell you what it is, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt seen? Not just looked at, but really seen and heard? I want you to think about that as we go through this video. And while you're here, take a moment to subscribe and comment below. What's the hardest part of getting older for you personally? You never know who else might read your words and feel less alone because of it. This video isn't about pity. It's about truth. Because the truth is, there's a silent thief that steals joy from the later years of life. And it often goes unnoticed until it's already done its damage. Today, we're going to uncover it. We're going to name it. And maybe, just maybe, take back a little piece of peace in the process. Let's dive in. Number 1. The story of Harold and the disappearing voice. Harold was 74 when he started to feel it. A retired school principal, father of 3, and proud grandfather of 7. He lived a life full of purpose and structure. He used to walk into a room and people listened. His advice mattered. His stories lit up family dinners. But lately, something had changed. His phone stayed quiet. Family gatherings turned into background noise. And when he tried to speak, felt like his words drifted off before they ever landed. One Sunday afternoon, Harold sat with his son, trying to explain how overwhelmed he felt about using the new phone his grandson had given him. His son smiled politely and said, "Don't worry, Dad, it's not that hard." Then he turned back to his screen. In that moment, Harold felt like he didn't just lose the conversation. He lost his place. That's the one thing we're talking about today, the feeling of no longer being needed. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But it cuts deep. When your sense of purpose starts to fade, it doesn't matter how many birthdays you've seen or how many people love you. If you feel like you're not contributing, not valued, something inside starts to shrink. That's when the sadness sets in. Not the loud kind, but the quiet, lonely kind that creeps in between long silences. And here's the thing. This isn't about pride. It's about identity. When you've spent decades doing, leading, giving, and then suddenly you're just there, it can make life feel smaller than it should be. Have you ever felt like Harold? Like your voice was disappearing in a room that used to be full of your presence? Tell me in the comments. Let's make this space one where voices don't fade. And if this part resonates with you, stick around, because in the next section, we'll dive into something even more surprising. Something backed by science. Don't miss it. Number 2. The hidden biology of loneliness. Did you know that loneliness, yes, the simple feeling of being alone, can be as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day? That's not just a poetic statement. That's a real, documented statistic from a study by the former U.S. Surgeon General. Let that sink in for a moment. Being lonely can actually increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and yes, depression. Not just emotionally, but physically. Your body responds to loneliness like it's under constant stress. You see, we humans are wired to connect. It's not just about being social for the sake of fun. It's about survival. When we don't feel seen, when we feel excluded, our brains interpret it as danger. Stress hormones like cortisol rise, sleep quality drops, immune systems weaken, and over time, it chips away at both the body and the spirit. Now here's where it gets truly serious for seniors. As we age, our social circles shrink. Friends pass away. Children move far. Physical limitations make getting out harder. So even if your heart is still full of life, your calendar might start looking emptier, and your health silently begins to bear the weight. And worst of all, many older adults feel ashamed to admit they're lonely. They fear sounding needy, or worse, being a burden. So they smile and say, "I'm fine," even when inside, they're not. That's why we need to talk about this openly, because silence only feeds the problem. Have you ever experienced this kind of quiet loneliness, the one no one sees, but you feel in your bones? Share in the comments. Not because you need to explain yourself, but because someone else out there might read your words and feel less alone in theirs. If this part struck a chord with you, don't go anywhere. Up next, we'll walk through a real-life decision, a moment where things could go two ways. And we'll see just how deep the impact of human connection can truly be. Number 3. A fork in the road, two very different paths. Picture this. Two seniors, same age, let's say 72. Both retired, both widowed, both living in the same quiet suburb. Let's call them Ellen and Marjorie. Ellen wakes up each morning, makes her coffee, feeds her cat, and reads the paper. Her children check in now and then, but their lives are busy. She doesn't want to bother them. Her days are quiet, predictable, isolated. Most days, she doesn't speak to anyone until the evening news comes on. Marjorie, she wakes up around the same time, makes the same coffee, but 3 times a week, she heads to the community center. She helps teach a knitting class. On Saturdays, she calls her neighbor to go for a short walk. She's part of a church group that meets for lunch once a month. She still has her quiet moments, sure, but they're interrupted by laughter, conversation, a sense of being part of something. Now fast forward 6 months. Ellen finds it harder to get out of bed. Her memory seems fuzzier. She skips meals sometimes. What's the point of cooking for one? Her world has quietly shrunk down to 4 walls and a television. She tells herself she's just tired lately. Marjorie, on the other hand, isn't without grief or struggle, but she has something powerful Ellen doesn't: connection. And that connection builds resilience. It's a buffer against the blues, a reason to comb her hair in the morning, a reason to get out the door. This is the power of contrasting paths. One leads to a quiet kind of fading, the other to a gentle but meaningful continuation. The difference? It wasn't money. It wasn't health. It wasn't even personality. It was choice and the willingness to stay connected. Now I want to hear from you. Which path feels more familiar to your life right now? Or maybe you've lived both. Share in the comments. Your story matters more than you think, and someone else might be waiting to hear it. Stick around, because in the next part, we're going to go deeper into the brain, into the psychology of feeling invisible. It's not just in your head. There's a reason why being ignored can feel like a wound. You won't want to miss this. Number 4. The psychology of being invisible. Imagine walking into a room and no one looks up. You say something, but no one responds. You offer a thought, a memory, a joke, and it floats, unanswered, in the air. That feeling, that hollow ache in your chest, that's not just emotion. That's psychology at work. You see, the human brain is hardwired for recognition. From the time we're born, we seek eye contact, facial expressions, vocal tones. They tell us, you matter, you exist. And when those signals stop coming, when we're no longer asked for our opinion, when we're left out of decisions, when others talk around us instead of to us, our brains register that as a kind of social rejection. And here's the powerful part. Studies have shown that social rejection activates the same areas in the brain as physical pain. Let me repeat that. Being ignored, dismissed, or excluded hurts your brain the way a burn or a punch might hurt your body. So when seniors say, "I feel invisible," they're not being dramatic. They're describing something very real. And over time, that invisible feeling can turn into something darker: shame, withdrawal, even hopelessness. Now think about this. In many cultures, age is honored. Elders are seen as the keepers of wisdom. But in modern society, especially here in the US, growing old can sometimes feel like fading out. The spotlight moves on. And unless we push back, unless we demand to be seen, it becomes too easy to disappear in plain sight. Have you ever had a moment where you felt invisible? Where you spoke and no one really heard you? I hope you'll tell me about it in the comments. Because naming that moment, sharing it, can be the first step toward reclaiming your voice. And hey, if you're still with me, don't forget to like this video. It tells the algorithm that voices like yours deserve to be heard. We've got one final piece to this puzzle. In the next part, I'll share a surprising truth that might just change the way you see aging and yourself forever. Number 5. The surprising truth about purpose after 60. Here's something they don't tell you enough. Your sense of purpose doesn't retire when you do. In fact, according to a 2019 study published in the journal JAMA Network Open, adults over the age of 50 who reported having a strong sense of purpose in life were significantly less likely to die over the next decade than those who didn't. Not just less depressed, not just happier, literally more likely to live longer. Think about that for a second. Purpose isn't just a nice feeling. It's a lifeline, a biological motivator. It tells your body, your mind, your entire system, we've still got something to do here. But here's where it gets tricky. Many people confuse purpose with productivity. They think, well, I don't work anymore, or the kids don't need me like they used to, and so they assume their purpose is gone. That couldn't be further from the truth. Purpose isn't just about what you do, it's about why you do it. It could be making a friend smile every day, teaching your grandchild how to bake your famous pie, volunteering once a month, writing down your life stories so they're never forgotten, or simply being a steady, loving presence in someone's life. One 85-year-old man once told me, "My job now is to be the memory keeper of the family. When they forget who they are, I remind them." That's purpose. That's power. If you've ever thought, what's the point now? I want you to know, there is one, and you get to define it. Not society, not your past title, you. Tell me in the comments, what gives your days meaning right now? Or what used to, that you might want to reclaim? And if you're getting something from this video, tap that like button. It helps more people, especially those who feel forgotten, find this message. We're almost there. In the final part, we'll pull everything together. And I'll leave you with a message I hope you carry into tomorrow. Stick with me. So, what truly makes seniors depressed? It's not just the physical aches, not just the losses we've endured. It's that quiet erosion of meaning, of connection, of feeling like we no longer matter. It's the silence after the door closes, the glance that passes through you, not at you, the creeping thought that maybe your time of being needed has passed. But here's what I want you to remember, and I mean this from the deepest place in my heart. You are not invisible. You are not done. You are not a chapter that's already been read. You are a living library, a source of strength, a beacon of experience in a world that's forgetting how to slow down and listen. The world may not always hand you your place. You might have to stand up and claim it. Start small. Reach out. Tell your story. Ask a neighbor to coffee. Offer your wisdom. Demand space where it's missing. And most of all, believe that your presence still carries weight. If this video meant something to you, please subscribe. Leave a comment. Share your voice. That's how we build this space, together. One comment, one connection, one real moment at a time. Let this be a reminder. Depression may whisper that you're alone, that you've been left behind, but the truth? You're still here. And as long as you're here, your life still matters. See you in the next video.